Good morning, welcome to the Daily News podcast. Today is June 5th, 2026.
Ukraine leads us off. Volodymyr Zelensky has publicly invited Vladimir Putin to face-to-face talks in a neutral third country, putting the offer out in an open letter. It's a big diplomatic signal at a moment when pressure is building for some kind of movement toward a settlement. There's no sign yet that Moscow will say yes, but the message is clear. Kyiv wants to show it's willing to negotiate directly, and now the spotlight shifts to the Kremlin.
And that kind of public challenge matters, because if Russia refuses, it shapes the narrative fast. It's diplomacy, but also pressure politics in plain sight. Staying with conflict in the region, Hezbollah has rejected a renewed ceasefire announced after US-backed talks involving Israel and Lebanon. That immediately raises the risk of more fighting along the Israel-Lebanon border, and it lands in the middle of a much wider regional crisis tied to tensions with Iran. In Gaza, medics say Israeli strikes on 4 residential buildings in Gaza City killed 11 people, including women and children. Israel says the targets were Hamas security officials. So the bottom line this morning is that hopes for de-escalation are fragile at best, and the humanitarian toll keeps rising.
Right, and every setback on one front now threatens to spill into the others. The region just looks increasingly connected and increasingly volatile. Back in Washington, Donald Trump is hitting back after the House passed a measure seeking to limit further military action related to Iran. He called the vote unpatriotic, even though the resolution is largely symbolic. At the same time, Trump plans to nominate Blanche, his former personal lawyer, as Attorney General on a permanent basis. Put those together and you get a pretty sharp picture of the current moment, a fight over presidential war powers abroad, and a push to place a close ally at the top of the Justice Department at home.
That's a lot of executive power debate packed into one day. Congress is trying to signal limits, and Trump is signaling the opposite. Moving to markets, U.S. stocks had a split session. The Dow hit another record high, while tech names, especially AI-linked chip stocks, lost ground ahead of the May jobs report. Broadcom was a big part of that pressure, and the weakness spilled across semiconductors, which matters because chips have been carrying so much of the AI trade. Investors are basically trying to decide whether this is a healthy pause or the start of a broader reset in AI expectations. Also worth noting, United Health got a boost after a Bank of America upgrade and a dividend increase, showing there's still appetite for big defensive names outside tech.
And that split is the story right now. Old economy strength on one side, AI nerves on the other. The jobs report could either calm that down or make it louder. On the tech side, TSMC says demand for AI chips is still outpacing its ability to supply customers, even as it expands production. That's a huge signal because TSMC sits at the center of advanced chip manufacturing for a lot of the industry. At the same time, OpenAI says ChatGPT is rolling out improved memory, designed to keep better track of user preferences and maintain more useful context over time. One story says the hardware bottleneck is still real, and the other says the software experience is getting more personal fast. That combination tells you where AI is right now, constrained underneath, but accelerating on the surface.
Yeah, users will notice the memory upgrade immediately, but the supply crunch is the bigger structural issue. If the chips can't keep up, neither can the rest of the AI economy. In science and energy, fusion startup Helion has raised another $465 million as it works toward building a power plant for Microsoft by 2028. That is ambitious bordering on audacious, but it shows how serious hyperscalers are about locking in future power sources for data centers and AI infrastructure. And in another big energy milestone, wind and solar reportedly generated more electricity than gas globally in April. It's just 1 month, but it's still a notable marker in the long energy transition story.
That's the contrast perfectly: moonshot power in fusion and quiet momentum in renewables. One is a bet on the future, the other is already changing the present. And to wrap up on a lighter note, Nintendo is reportedly reviving Star Fox with a full remake for the Switch 2. It's one of those legacy franchises fans have been waiting on forever, and the talk is upgraded visuals plus expanded multiplayer. Also in brief, Netflix is launching a FIFA World Cup game on June 11th as it keeps pushing deeper into gaming.
Nostalgia still sells, especially when it comes with better hardware. And if Nintendo gets Star Fox right, that's an easy headline grabber. That's it for this morning.
Thanks for listening.
We'll be back tomorrow with another Daily News podcast.